will now commence at 6:03. The first order of business is roll call. May we please commence roll call?
Hello, yes. Okay. Representative Nadala.
Present.
Thank you. Representative Astor.
Present.
Thank you. Representative Nida Maruri. She's absent. Okay. Representative Hamad.
Present.
Thank you. Representative Dillon. Representative Dillon. Okay. Representative Show.
Present.
Thank you. Representative Villa Gomez. Representative Villa Gomez. Thank you. Representative Akande.
She said present. My mic and camera don't work.
That's okay, I can see you. And Representative DeBrier.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next order of business is reading and approval of the minutes. Please take this time to read over the minutes. Are there any corrections to the minutes?
I would like to motion to add something. Oh, wait, sorry. No, never mind. We're still in minutes. Sorry, I apologize.
That's okay. Are there any other corrections to the minutes? Okay, if not, then the minutes will stand as approved. The next order of business is reading and approval of the agenda. Please take this time to read over the agenda. Are there any amendments to the agenda?
I would like to move to add resolution 2020-S10-801 to the agenda for new business.
There has been a motion to add resolution 2020 S10-801. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to add resolution 2020 S10-801 to new business. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
All that opposed, please say nay. Does anyone abstain? All right, so in that case, resolution 2020 S10-801 has been added to new business. Are there any other amendments to the agenda? Okay, so if not, then the agenda will stand as approved. The next order of business is ex officio reports. May we please have, ex officio reports. May we please have the report of the advisor?
Good evening, everyone. I hope you are all well. I really have very little, or actually I don't think I have anything to report today. Other than we have, I don't know if you're aware of this, but the university did receive federal funding that will be used to support students, and you should be receiving notification about that within the next week or so. And I think that's about it. That is of importance. So I'll take any questions if there are any. Although, Daisy, I did have an update regarding the question that you asked last week regarding orientation leaders. So orientation leaders would still be hired, but they'll be working virtually or remotely. I don't know if you've gotten that communication from the orientation staff.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions for our advisor? Okay, so if not, then the report of the advisor will be filed. The next order of business is officer reports. May we please have the report of the president?
Yeah, good evening. I hope you all are doing well. So first, sorry, I'm looking at my list. So first, I reached out with encouragement, I guess, guidance from Dean Wright to Center for Student Involvement to see if we could sponsor any programs. That's just a way for us to continue our visibility on campus, but also use our budget to help students in other ways. And then I was on an email chain with the Pop-Up Pantry, Carol Peterson, this morning, and so we hopefully can talk tomorrow about that support. Dahlia will talk about the nominations, but it'll be nominations and acceptance of nominations and giving a speech in one meeting, and then voting virtually with the announcement to follow, and all in the same day. And then I've been looking for plaques, so I'll probably have to get with Jocelyn on where we ordered plaques last year and certificates so that those can be held over in the office for next year's student, we can get them in the office next year. And then if you have keys to the office, hold on to those keys and any things that may go in the office or that you need from the office, and we can retrieve them at the beginning of next year since we're virtual now and we'll be virtual over the summer. Also, I encourage everyone to fill out the census. That's very important right now. And then finally, we have no new questions in the place we were accepting questions for the town hall and for student questions, but the chancellor's office has agreed to, if more questions come in, answer those questions via email. Well, I'll be in communication with them via email and we can give answers that way. And then lastly, I forward you all an email about a UI Health Heroes campaign. That's a campaign that Illinois Connection, the system alumni office, is doing to kind of show support to the healthcare workers that are working at UI Health. Additionally, there'll be another campaign coming out in a couple weeks concerning the budget, the state budget, and then that'll come out in the mid to late May, so I'll forward you that then. But in the next week or so, there'll be a call to action concerning federal money. So we had 3 phases for the CARES Act right now. Some of that money has been, like Dean Wright said, going to universities, but we've asked for more, and so we're hoping to get more and to push for more in the future. And so they want students and stuff to be involved and calling offices and stuff and asking for more funding to go towards universities. So when that comes, I'll forward you that. Otherwise, are there any questions or things I can answer, provide clarity on?
I have a question about the elections real quick.
Mhm.
If you didn't get onto the ballot for representatives, can you still run in the next meeting
Were you
or
on the
next semester?
last year?
Um,
Or when did you
Ye-
become a member? Did you run
in
last
fall.
in the fall? Dean Wright, I don't think so. No.
So the ballot has been closed as far as students being able to run for re-election. So I think then the next thing is if you wish to serve on USG in the fall, you would have to reapply.
Okay.
Go through
Okay,
the
thank you.
similar process that you went through this past academic school year.
I have a question regarding that because in previous years, if a member had applied in the fall, they would be able to apply for a speaker even if they weren't on the ballot that spring semester.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood the question. So was the question to serve on USG, or was the question to run for either speaker or treasurer?
Just for representative.
That's what I thought.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I misunderstood. I thought you meant for speaker or treasurer.
That's
And those are the only things we'll be voting and nominating on, speaker and treasurer. The new administration will decide how all the other e-board offices, e-board offices will be appointed. These are nominated positions by the body, technically a part of the legislative branch.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So for next semester, is it decided when the application will open for USG?
That is all up to the next administration. So they can decide that over the summer or whatever they want to do, but they won't take in new members. Like, it won't be finalized until the fall.
Awesome, thank you.
Regarding plaques, I order them on Amazon, but we do have a lot because I ordered some. I don't know if I did it this year or last year, but we had enough for last year's members, and I think last year we had about 30 members plus a few more, so we have about 45-ish plaques. So we do have enough for members, but if you want to order it more, they're on Amazon. I also ordered the certificate paper and the folders on Amazon, but we do have a few extra in the office. I don't know how many, but I think enough for us. I think there's currently like 20 of us or so. But we should have enough paper for certificates. I don't know if we have enough folders. But yeah, we have that in the office. Yeah, that's the only thing regarding your comment.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions for Taylor? Okay, so if not, then the report of the president will be filed. Next, we have the report of the vice president.
Hi, everyone. I hope that you had a wonderful weekend. Something that I've worked in these past few days is the self-defense seminar program that I've been helping plan with the Commuter Student Resource Center. The resolution that that you guys added to the agenda is in regards to funding for that seminar. I'll talk about it more during the resolution, during new business, but that's something that I've been working on. Another thing, and this is kind of something that I've been working in cahoots with my role as a writer in Bonfire, is an article regarding how students are going to be how students are coping with COVID-19. So I'm going to be asking what resources they would like to access and researching those resources so I could compile a list of them in regards to like mental health and so that students can look at that list and have like all of them compiled instead of researching it and stuff. So that's the project that I'm going to start working on this week. Another thing that I did this weekend is I worked with Dahlia in regards to transition documents. She forwarded me 3 forms and we discussed a little bit about what to do in regards to transition documents that we'll each be writing, we, the cabinet. But yeah, that's something that I've been working on, and I yield for any questions.
Are there any questions for Jocelyn? If not, then the report of the vice president will be filed. Next, we have the report of the treasurer. Is Steve present? Or is anyone reading his report? Okay, so if not, then we can move on to the next report, which is the report of the speaker. So hi guys, I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're staying safe, staying at home if you can do that. So for my report, something that I did earlier in this week was I found some laptops on Best Buy, and I apologize for sending them late. I just completely slipped my mind, but I hope the information can still be useful. Otherwise, I wanted to congratulate everyone who won the election. So congratulations to Jocelyn for being the expected winner for student trustee. Congratulations to Wasan, and Hannah for being the expected president and vice president for next year's USG. Congratulations to Michelle and Bayan and Dahlia and Sampriti for being next year's USG representatives. And congratulations for Isabel and Taylor for being next year's members of the UIC Senate. So congratulations to all of you. And I'm really excited to see how your roles will be next year and the great things that all of you guys are going to do. And besides that, I think that's pretty much it for my report. Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, I have not responded to your email. I have read through your email. Thank you for putting the list together. I was in contact with ACCC. I guess this is for everyone. And the institution is providing dollars. As far as laptop purchases have gone, what I asked today is if there are laptops that will be available, whether or not they rented the laptops that they're giving students, and whether or not laptops will be available for students to have next year, not just when things are virtual, but when students are on campus as well, so that they can have a laptop to go back and forth with. So I'm awaiting a response on that. What that triggered for me was a question about whether some of the dollars that they're using for laptops will come out of the money that is supposed to be given to students as far as financial aid. And so that's what I'm trying to look into. And if that is the case, then offering our resources to pay for those laptops so that money isn't taken away from students' resources or the amount of dollars that are allocated to students outside of laptops. So I can provide that information to everyone, but specifically you, Daisy. But thank you for all of that. I know that was very stressful and hard, so thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone have any other questions for me?
No, I have a comment. Thank you so much for congratulating us.
Thank you. Good job. I'm really proud of you guys.
Yeah.
I also have a quick comment. Thank you so much for sharing the resources in regards to tuition fees. Because regarding tuition refunds, and Daisy was kind enough to share some of her resources with me.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, well, thank you guys. If there are no more questions or comments, then the report of the speaker will be filed. Next, we have the report of the Chief of Staff.
Hello, everybody. I hope your last week went well. I know a bunch of people are gonna be having exams either last week or this week, kind of before finals. So I hope you guys are, able to study at home and do things like that. I know it's been a struggle for a lot of students to be at home and also be a student. So I hope, if you guys do need anything, you can always contact me, and I can see if either I can put you in contact with somebody or I can find a resource. I can be the resource myself. First thing on my report is elections. Congratulations to everybody who ran, to everybody who got voted in. I'm not gonna, yeah, that's the right terminology, I think. But yeah, congratulations to everybody. I hope to see all of you next year if possible. My second thing is nominations. So regarding nominations, it's going to be you nominate, and then the speech for the person that was nominated is going to be said in that time. That person will move out of the Zoom meeting so that all of the body can discuss. They can come back into the meeting, and then we can continue with all of the nominations. In regards to after that meeting, everybody who was nominated is going to be put in something kind of like a Google form most probably, and we're going to be voting that way, and then hopefully results will come out by midnight that night. Hopefully that's clear. If you have any questions, give me a holler. But third thing that that's in my report is I've been like overviewing positions throughout the past week, making sure, everybody's been like doing their job and things like that, and looking at the people who haven't been doing their job and just making sure that like we're all on the same page for a lot of things. I met with Taylor Dean Wright and Jocelyn over the weekend, just discussing transition and kind of finalizing things for the semester. And then moving to transition forms, I've sent all of those forms out, and so it's basically 3 forms. It's going to be required for all representatives to fill out these 3 forms. They're going to be based off of resolutions, events, or incomplete. And while it is required for you to fill out these forms, if you haven't submitted a resolution that like went through, a resolution that you were planning or anything like that, any event that you had in the past 2 semesters, and then just any initiatives that you like planned or because of COVID-19 didn't go through or anything like that, that's where you're going to kind of put everything. But that'll be more in an incomplete form. And those 3 forms were all sent out, I think around 1. And I'm going to speak of them more in the discussion section, just because I know I want to go through all the forms and make sure that all the questions are understood. So those questions that you have about transition forms will be answered in, I guess, the discussion section. And the last thing is, I also discussed with Taylor the stipends of both Aitana and Anna Maria, and they will be getting an increase because they were not paid last semester. But yeah, that is my report. Sorry, it was a little bit of a long one.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Dalia?
Can you tell us the amount increase for Aitana without like sharing the whole amount, the percentage and the reasoning for it?
Oh, okay. Sorry. The percent increase, they're going to be getting their full stipend for this semester, and then it will be, because we had 10 meetings last semester and they were voted in the last meeting, it will be a 10% increase from the stipend that they were supposed to receive last semester. So 10% of that stipend from last semester is going to be added on to the stipend for this semester because they did not receive their stipend for last semester. I think that breaks it up right. It's just going to be the 10% added from fall onto the spring stipend.
And that's for the work that they did over winter break, because they both worked over winter break, so it's well earned.
Thank you. Are there any other comments or questions for Dalia?
I just want to say thank you so much for considering our request to have an increase. It means so much. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Like both you and Anna Maria definitely did work, and we don't want that to be something that like wasn't seen or like you didn't get paid for, because you guys did do a lot of hard work. And I know that being a webmaster and being, like somebody that's controlling the Instagrams and the YouTube and everything like that, that's not something that I can do. So you guys being able to do it alone is great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any comments or questions for Dalia?
I have a question. Do we by any chance know when are we gonna receive the stipends for first and second semester? Like, is there a date we can?
Can I jump in on that one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So there was an issue with the Office of Business Management that we were able to finally get rectified. So we're hoping to process the fall stipends this week. We ran a couple of test cases, and so they did go through. So we're hoping to run them to finish processing all stipends for the fall this week. And then for the spring semester, we just need the RFFs to be submitted by the treasurer so that we can then process payment for the spring. And I'm hoping to do all of that, process those early so that prior to the end of the term, all funds would have been allocated or distributed.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
I have a question concerning that. Sorry. I think I've already received my fall stipend. Did everyone receive their fall? Everyone? Did Daniela, did you?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So it might be helpful. So Dahlia, if we could take just like a poll of those who did receive fall stipends so that I'm not double processing them, that would be really helpful. Because I was literally getting ready to have all the
it
fall
would be
processed.
okay. So I would just be asking the people that were elected in the fall. So like,
Right,
for example,
correct.
me and I know a couple other people were elected in the
So
spring, so not including them, correct?
Correct. So it's whoever was supposed to
Okay.
get stipends for the fall, and then just make sure that they did receive their stipend, and then what the new if there are any different changes. So for example, Daisy now the speaker, so she's now will be receiving the speaker stipend. Jocelyn will be receiving the vice president's stipend. Taylor will be receiving the president's stipend, and then the new additions with Aitana and Anna.
All right, I'll do a poll on that and try and get everything to you by tonight.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. So with that, the report of the chief of staff will be
Wait,
filed.
I have a quick question for Dahlia.
Yes.
So about the new president and vice president, when will they attend meetings and start having that transfer of power, whatever?
I think either Dean Wright or Taylor can respond better to that one, or Jocelyn on that account. But I think the plan is we have this meeting and next meeting. And there's needs to be more discussion on when we are going to 100% be handing over everything and kind of having them control the meetings. However, I think they're welcome, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they're welcome to attend our meetings from now, correct?
They are welcome. However, the election results have not been ratified by the election planning committee, so there is no handover of power or transition plan in place until after all winners have been declared.
Okay.
Everyone is
Right. I have a quick question for you. So I emailed Cynthia and she said the results will have to be posted by April 10th. Do you know why they haven't?
So anytime there's a challenge and or if there are outstanding complaints, EPC will have to complete those. We'll have to render decisions, and so at this point, there's no expected date as far as when elections will be ratified. Election decisions will be ratified. So I cannot give you a date at this point in time.
Okay. Thank you.
are bound by open meetings Act. Open meeting. Yeah, sorry. So everyone is invited to these Zoom calls. Aitana records them so that they can be accessible after. But additionally, if students want to attend, email so we can send the link to them, because it's not just we still, as we invite people in the physical meetings, have to invite people to these meetings, if that makes sense. So everyone is invited to come part of the meetings and have public comment. Sorry.
Thank you. Are there any further questions for Dahlia? Okay, so if not, the report of the chief of staff will be filed. Next, we have the report of the Diversity and Inclusion Committee Chair.
Hello. I hope everyone's doing well and staying safe. Please remember to take care of yourself too. I don't have a report today, but if you want to do anything for next semester or have an idea so I can add into the folder, you're more than welcome to contact me. Are you have questions?
Are there any questions? If not, then the report of the chairwoman of the Diversity and Inclusion Committee will be filed. Next, we have the report of the Legislative Affairs Committee Chair.
Hi everyone. I hope you guys are doing okay. I hope you guys are staying safe. First, I just wanted to say congratulations to all of the election winners, all of our new representatives that are expecting to officially be in USG next year. I want to also say good job at the town hall for the virtual town hall. That was really good. A lot of people were tuned in. I had a lot of people asking me questions while it was happening, but it was a perfect way to reach out to students. I was not able to attend. There was a core meeting on Tuesday, and I had a discussion collaborate at the same time, so I was not able to attend. And that's all. I yield for questions. Oh, actually, another thing about the census. So just for you guys to know, fill out the questionnaire. You can do that online, and it asks you about stuff to do with your address, and you will get sent a letter to your house. It has a code, and that's the code that you're going to use to fill out the actual census. I'm going to send PRC actually a flyer tonight. I'll talk to you about that later. Okay, now I yield for questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions? If not, then the report of the chairwoman of the Legislative Affairs Committee will be filed. Next, we have the report of the Public Relations Committee Chair. Is Nada present?
I think
Or would
she's
anyone-
still in her other meeting.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Should we come back to her?
If possible, I would.
Okay, all right, thank you. Next, we have the report of the Student Life Committee Chair.
Marian says she has no report, and she's sorry she's missing today.
Okay, all right, that's okay. Okay, so we might have to come back for Nada. But in that case, when are you guys, Taylor, this question is for you. When should we do the nominations and the elections? Should it be before old and new business, or should it be after?
Nominations will happen next week.
Okay, okay.
And it will be, we can do it before, we can do it after owed business at that point.
Okay.
Before items for discussion.
Okay, thank you. All right. So the next order of business will be old business. However, there is no old business. The next order of business will be new business, and we have Resolution 2020 S10-801. Jocelyn, would you like to introduce that to us?
Yes, and to facilitate this, I'm gonna share I can't share my screen. Daniela, are you the host?
Yes, let me.
Can you let me?
I'm gonna make you the host for a little bit because I'm not sure how I can do it otherwise.
Also, if you guys want to access it, you can find it on Box in Meeting 10.
Yeah, it's also on Box. Okay, there we go. So thank you. Can you guys all see my? Okay, awesome.
Yes.
So it's Resolution 2020-S10-801. It's the Self-Defense Seminar Program funding. First reading today, second reading voting next week. I'm the chief sponsor. So whereas the Commuter Student Resource Center, CSRC, determined that the commuter students have shown an interest in a self-defense seminar program accessible to them. And whereas Vice President Jocelyn Bravo, on behalf of USG, has been involved in the planning of a self-defense program for UIC students, and whereas the Wing Sun Illinois, the vendor, will be charging $1,100 for 2 one-hour virtual seminars for UIC students that will take place in late April and May/June. And whereas all participating departments, including CSI and FSL, Fraternity and Sorority Life, are being asked by CSRC to contribute approximately $140 to fund this program, then let it be resolved that USG asks CSI to pay on their behalf and for USG to transfer approximately $150 to CSI to fund the self-defense seminar program. So I emailed Dean Wright this afternoon because I didn't know if we were able to fund this since it's an outside vendor, and I'm not really sure how those payments work. But Dean Wright did email me that if you guys approved of this resolution, one way to fund this program would be to ask CSI to pay on our behalf, and then for us to transfer $140 to them. So that's what we're going to be voting on next week. I have also included here my email correspondences with Christina, who's heading this project over at the commuter center, and just our email correspondences in regards to like what is being offered. There are 2 virtual seminars. There will be a recording that students will be able to access. We're working with Joy over at CSI to see how this link will be accessed by students and made available. Also the price that they're charging for, possible days. And yeah, so basically I included my email correspondences to prove what I stated in the resolution. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you. So I will now open up the floor for discussion. Are there any questions or comments regarding this resolution?
My comment is this sounds really good too. After talking with Joy and planning a phone conversation with her this week, and trying to talk to SAB, I can probably loop in Daniela on that. We're going to try to host some programs with them. So maybe like at the end of the semester, we can talk about just the transfer of a lump sum, tallying all of those programs that we host together, with this included.
Okay. I would ask just what time, because for us, we're looking for our first seminar, late April. We're looking at the week before finals. So either the 27th, the 30th, or the 1st. So we would need funding by the 27th at the latest.
Yeah, I mean, if we're asking them to pay initially and we
Yeah,
pay
that's
them
true.
back,
Never mind. Yeah, you're right.
yeah, no, but it'll definitely be, I think it'll be passed by then. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So-
fine. I completely forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, just jumping in really quickly, as long as all funds are transferred to CSI no later than June 15th, it's fine.
Okay, thank you so much for that. So yeah, if Taylor, if you want to tackle something like that, and I can help you with that, and we can table this resolution.
I mean, we don't have to table it. We can go on and
Okay.
yeah, so.
Okay, awesome. Any other questions?
Are there any other questions or comments regarding the resolution? Okay, so if there are no further comments, then we can vote on this next week. Okay, so the next order of business is items for discussion. So Dahlia, could you please talk a little bit about the accountability forms?
Yeah. So was I just made host, because then I can like share my screen and kind of show you everything that I'm doing.
I recently changed the settings so that all participants can share.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Are you
then I'm
able
just gonna
to?
pull
If
it.
not, I can try to change it.
I'm going to check. Yeah, I think I can. I'm just gonna pull it up quick before I share. But these forms are basically, I've discussed with a lot of members the basis of like accountability and a lot of people planning things, and then they leave or they kind of stop doing them, and they're really good initiatives. So we like never see them happen again, even though there's something that like are worthwhile and we should be continuing. So I kind of created this form so that they can all be in kind of one place, and like we have like descriptions and things like that for all of our resolutions, events, initiatives, things like that. But yeah, let me share screen.
You guys can also find that on Box in Meeting 10.
Yeah, Daisy included some screenshots in the doc if you're not able to see my screen right now. But the first form is this resolution form, and kind of just as the description reads, it's a place to put all the information regarding the process that you found of creating a specific resolution. The chief sponsor is the only person that needs to fill out this form. If let's say there are two of you, then like you guys can decide between yourselves who wants to do it. If you feel like, let's say me and Taylor did a resolution together and I feel like both of us contributed things like equally, and I feel like both of us should be putting in input, then you can definitely we could definitely both fill it out, but it only needs to be one person if you feel that is kind of how the vibe is. So it kind of asks you for your name, the name of the resolution, what the content of your resolution was. In like short, I'm pretty much asking for like 1 or 2 sentences. I don't ask for too much just because like it's written in the resolution. Like if they want this information, they can just read the resolution, but it's kind of to serve as like in short. And then I know that it's been a struggle in previous semesters because some people don't feel like they're ready to write a resolution, or they're scared of like writing the resolution. So I kind of wrote like a complications tab just so that, let's say if we do have like a resolution workshop next semester in the beginning of the year, then these complications can be brought up and we can kind of discuss them in a way that like moving forward we don't have these complications again. And then the last question also serves the same purpose. Was there anything you wish you had help with or knew before creating this resolution? It's pretty much the same thing. All of these are not mandatory questions that you need to respond to, but like anything helps. And I think if you're only going to write your name and the name of the resolution, it's not going to be helpful. So you might as well just fill out the whole thing if you can. If the like question isn't applicable to you, then like don't fill it out. But like for the content of the resolution and like complications, if you did have any, please make sure to fill those out. For the second resolution, okay, the second one is an event form, and this one is just like how was your event? And I know that we have like an event response form, but I thought this one would be nice to have just all in one place, because I plan to put these all in one document and they'll be in like a transition folder on Box once I get all of the information. But again, what is the name of your event, date, semester? Especially when we have events, I feel like there are a lot of collaborators and some of them are very helpful in creating the event. So I thought it was really important to kind of put those collaborators in. So if you did have any collaborators, names and emails, so that people in the future, if they want to have an event that's kind of like that, they can kind of just attach, they can like look at this doc, find the email, and they're pretty much done. Much like the Robert's Rules one, purpose of your event, a range of people that attended the event, just so that, let's say if we're going to have it next semester, we're prepared to order enough food for the amount of people that are coming. And then for the event that will be reoccurring. So let's say for the State of the Students event that Taylor created, that's going to be a yearly reoccurring event. and I just thought it would be important to like write that down and write when and who you want heading it. So let's say I worked with Taylor on the State of the Students, and Taylor is doesn't want to head it next year, so she'd be like, okay, well, I want Dahlia to head it next year, so just so that she can oversee it, because she knows what she's like doing in this event. And then what were a few things that you felt were crucial? Kind of same gist, so people in the future can know if they are planning this event or if they need any help, like this is a source for them. Oh, I'm gonna stop really quick and ask if you have any questions before I go into the incomplete form.
Hey, so I have a quick question about the event form.
Mhm.
Does it apply to events that we planned to have but did not happen, such as the social this semester? Because that's also a reoccurring event. And it did happen last year, and it also happened last semester. But how, like, what would that look like?
So before I answer your question, I'm gonna see if there's any other questions, because that kind of falls into like the incomplete form. So if there are any other questions, please say them now so we can move on. Okay, I'm gonna take that as a no. And basically, to answer your question, Daisy, that's why I created the incomplete form. And the incomplete form is essentially to kind of like all of the reoccurring events that didn't happen, the Unity dinner, Bayan's event that didn't happen, my event, my workshop that didn't happen. That's gonna go in this form, so that, let's say I'm not gonna be able to work on the workshop, or Bayan wants to hand her event to somebody else in the event that that does happen. It's all in one doc, and that they can just read over this doc and they don't have to like either, let's say like I fell off grid, didn't talk to anybody from student government again, and they still want my workshop to happen, or I still want my workshop to happen. They're gonna have no idea how I did it, who I was talking to, how I put it together. So I think, so when I fill out this form, and like when you fill out the form for the social, so this form, it's gonna serve for people in the future that are hosting these events to like be able to say, okay, this is everything that she did. Okay. Okay, so the incomplete form is going to be for literally anything that you wanted to see happen this semester, or you wanted to happen next year, but like you couldn't finish it, or you couldn't start emailing people because of COVID-19, or just you got busy with school, literally anything. Like, let's say it was half planned, it wasn't even planned, and you were just like thinking to yourself about it, or like it was going to happen the next week and then it didn't happen. So that's where all of this is going to go. So the person that is heading the event's name, what type of initiative it is. If you were working with anyone in student government, let's say I was working with Jocelyn to like do my workshop, and we were discussing like who I was supposed to be emailing, then I would add her in this. Same thing for outside of USG. So there are two separate ones. Let's say you were talking to so like for my event, I had 4 other orgs that I was talking to. So I would put all of those org emails into that one, whereas I would only put Jocelyn's in the one above. If there was a name for your initiative. And then, so let's say because I was chief of staff, or I am chief of staff, that's like what it's gonna go under, because that's my position, but I was still working under the Diversity and Inclusion Committee for my event. So this question is basically gonna be answered by me saying, I want diversity and inclusion to handle it next year. Let's say I was in like Treasury and I wanted PRC to be handling it next year. Then it would be transferred over to PRC, because I'd be sending out emails to all of the committees and the committee heads for next year about these events and saying, this is everything that needs to be done for next year. So yeah, this is a space, so in the 3 sentences or more question, that's a space for you to say, this is how much I've gotten done, this is what needs to be done, this is when I was planning to have it, this is the name, this is who I was talking to, this is why I was talking to them. Like, I want it to be a very thorough, if possible. Let's say for the social, you were talking about like sponsoring it with somebody else, and like you're going to detail why, and who you were talking to from that org, and things like that, just to make it very cohesive for the person that's coming after you, and making sure that like they know what to do and they're continuing the planning of this event. And then this last one, or the second last one, is, let's say I'm planning on, like, I'm graduating, and so I won't really be using my old school email, or like I'm just not going to be in student government anymore, or something like that. Like, it's basically saying, do you want people to reach out to you about this event or not? And if no, that's fine. We're going to have to only use this. But if we are confused and there are any other questions, they can be used as a source, and that it'll kind of state that in the document. So if I was collaborating with anyone on this initiative, this is it falls in the same like aspect of, were you working with anyone in USG or outside of USG? It's more so like, what were their positions? So let's say if this person was not, like, if they were president of MSA, but like the next year they weren't, then we can go on UIC Connect and find the current president of MSA and then email them instead of emailing a former president and kind of having that confused. So that's kind of just to clarify. But yeah, that's it. Sorry, I was talking pretty fast just to kind of get us done at an okay time. But yeah, that is everything from me. These 3 forms are going to have to be filled out by all representatives, all e-board, basically anybody that has a resolution, event, or an incomplete. These forms need to be filled out. For e-board members, there will be an additional document for the transition that I will be sending out sometime this week, hopefully, before Monday next week. Just so there will be that document, and then there will be also this document. I am planning on giving everybody the week after finals to finish these. However, I'm going to be emailing everybody like at the beginning of every week saying, hey, you didn't fill this out, please fill it out. Just like so that you know that they still need to be done. And then just to reiterate and make sure that you guys all understand, these forms need to be filled out by everyone, and then the e-board has an additional transition form. And even if you are like the head of something now and are planning on being the head of something next year, you still are the same thing next year. You still need to fill out this document, even if it's just for yourself. Like, fill it out as thoroughly as you can. But yeah, that's it. I yield for questions.
Thank you, Dahlia. Are there any questions or comments for Dahlia?
I have a question.
Yeah.
As a generality, is there a specific place in Box where there's a description of what each position should do?
Yeah, in your constitution and in the bylaws, I kind of cross-reference both to kind of look at, because one might have a more descriptive response. So I would definitely check both, but they'll have like a pretty thorough description of all of the requirements for e-board members.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, so if there are no more questions or comments, then we can move to the next order of business, which is announcements. Are there any announcements?
Dahlia, can you check your chat? I asked you a private question.
Yeah, sounds good.
I actually have a question before we start discussing. For the fee return, it doesn't include the general fees? Is there anything that the administration is going to do about that? Because it only talks about refunding service fees.
Sorry, I can talk to the chancellor, the chancellor's chief of staff about that question. But that's like the decision they've come to right now. I can guess that they're going to say they are not planning to return any other fees because of the costs that they've incurred from this. But I will definitely bring it up a point, and I think that's concerning to all students and of interest to all students. So I'll bring it up again with them.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other announcements? Okay, so if there are no more announcements, then we can move on to the next order of business, which is adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting? Would anyone like to motion to adjourn this meeting?
I would like to motion to adjourn this meeting, please.
Thank you. Is there a second? Is there a second? Thank you. It has been moved and seconded to adjourn this meeting. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All that oppose, please say nay. Does anyone abstain? Okay, this meeting is now adjourned at 7 p.m.